Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Rave Culture Podcast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I'm your host, Emma Kapotes. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week, you guys. Oh man, it's been a week. A couple of updates for you guys, but first off, I just want to say that I am so excited for today's episode. Today I have an interview with a really incredible woman from the company Lunchbox, which you guys might have heard me talk a little bit about on YouTube or on my social media channels. It's an anti-theft hydration pack that is literally like changing the festival game. So I'm talking to one of the team members today, and she was so lovely to chat with today. So that is coming up later on the episode. But just a couple quick things here before we jump right into that interview. First off, I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast every week. I absolutely love doing this. This is seriously like one of my favorite things to do, just to sit down and record and talk about EDM and things related to the community and just different topics that's going on. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, for rating and reviewing on iTunes. I see you guys, and thank you for subscribing and sharing it with your friends. Please, make it your Instagram story, share it on Twitter, and just really spread the word. I appreciate it more than you guys ever know. So anyway, we'll move on to the next portion here. So one thing I did just want to say on the back end, like behind the scenes, I kind of tweeted a little bit about it last week, but I'm sort of just like figuring out all this stuff as I go. Editing podcasts is new to me. I've been doing YouTube a little over 2 years. If you guys aren't subscribed, go check it out. It's under my name, Emma Kapotes. But podcasting is new to me. I started this in April, and I've just used different programs that were recommended online just for beginners. And this one program I had been using has literally crashed on me 3 times now. And after the first time, I started saving backup recordings just so that in case it crashed and corrupted my file, I had a backup. So the first time it happened, I didn't, and I had to re-record an entire hour episode, and I was a little bit devastated. I think a couple of you guys know I do this on the side. I have a full-time job, and I do my YouTube channel, and I do the podcast on the side of that because I love it and because I find this to be so fun. Technology, sometimes not so much fun, but I learned my lesson. And then the second time it happened, I was very lucky because I now record on YouTube, so I'm filming this currently, which is great. And so I had the audio on the recording there, so that saved my ass. And then last week's episode, it might sound a little different as well. Same thing happened. The program Audacity crashed on me again and corrupted my file, and for some reason I'm trying to figure it out. It corrupts the backup file as well. Anyway, I know this isn't of interest to a lot of you, but just so you know what's been going on. So today I'm using a brand new program. If any of you guys are like Adobe nerds, I'm a graphic designer, so I use all of the Adobe programs, but I'm using Adobe Audition right now to record the podcast, and we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to teach myself a new program. I'm trying to look on the bright side, so I'm really excited. Hopefully all goes well. Fingers crossed here, you guys, that we have a professional sounding podcast. And I got new headphones, which I'm super excited about. So anyway, that's just what's been going on behind the scenes. Before I get into the episode here, what else do I have to chat about? I don't have any EDM news this week. I'm sort of recording back to back here. Just so you guys are aware, I'm going on vacation, I think in 2 weeks by the time this comes out. I know I was just in Vegas, but I have a family vacation now. But don't worry, I will have pre-filmed stuff going up. You guys won't miss a week, I promise. We're gonna have a podcast, we're gonna have videos, so all that fun stuff's coming up. Really quickly, I'm gonna be at Electric Zoo Labor Day weekend in New York, and I'm also gonna be at Imagine Music Festival. So if any of you guys are headed to either of those festivals, I hope to see you there. I'm planning meetups. I'm trying to plan like a whole bunch of fun stuff. I think it would be really cool to like pick a set that maybe we all attend together or whatever it is. So yeah, I hope to see you guys at one of those festivals. What else is coming up? I'm also going to Fisher back-to-back Chris Lake, or Chris Lake back-to-back Fisher, whichever way you want to say it, this upcoming weekend. I have been waiting for this show for months now. I mean, it sold out immediately. They did this in Los Angeles. They did 3 sold out shows like back to back, and for some reason in New York they're just doing the one. So it sold out like pretty instantly, and I have a group of about 6 people going, which is very, very exciting. And yeah, I'm just like really pumped. We have a good group going. It's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna be doing a vlog, so you guys will see everything that goes on behind the scenes. It's next Saturday, which is really exciting, in Brooklyn. So I have that coming up. I'm seeing Alesso in September, which I'm really, really excited for. And then after that I have Don Diablo. That's all the way out in October. But it'll be here soon before we know it. So anyway, so those are all the places I'm gonna be at. Hopefully maybe another festival in the fall, we shall see. But anyway, let's jump right into today's podcast episode. So where do we begin? I think a lot of you can relate to this, and a lot of you might have experience with this, unfortunately, but theft at music festivals is like a super prevalent issue, and it's very, very common. Unfortunately, there are people out there who they go to music festivals basically just to pickpocket people, and a lot of people get caught with like 50 to 100 phones, and it's sort of like this whole professional thing that happens, and it really sucks. And I know it's not just like people who are new to festivals. I think veterans in the community get their stuff stolen, and it really is a huge problem. So the company that I'm talking to today wanted to address that issue and a few other issues that festival goers face, and they created a hydration pack that has a bunch of different really cool features in it that make it an anti-theft hydration pack. And it's got a super easy to fill bladder, which is fantastic, because your girl always struggled with her hydration packs, you guys. Like, I could never screw the little thing off on the top, and I was always making a mess, and I was always holding up the line. So yeah, that issue was solved for me with this. And it's made of a material that you can't slice through, because people have had their bags sliced at festivals and had things stolen out of them. The pockets are like hidden, so there's not really like any zippers or anything like that. And there's a bunch of other cool features. They have LED wires, they have these customizable skins. So on the lunchbox itself, you can zip on and off different patterns on the front. They're like customizable skins. So that's really, really cool. So it's basically like a one and done. You can buy one lunchbox, and then you can buy different wires or skins to customize it. So anyway, it's a really incredible product. How I became familiar with them is they reached out to me after I did a YouTube video, how to prevent pickpocketing at music festivals. So it was really cool. I'll tell you guys just like a quick background story. So I got an email from them, and I get emails occasionally about products, and some of them I like know right away that it's not a legit company or something, because they either spell my name wrong, or there are a lot of spelling errors in the email, or it just doesn't seem like a legitimate company. And when they contacted me, they knew my name. They were like, we watched your video, we actually have an anti-theft hydration pack that you should check out. And I was like, okay, cool, like let me look into this company, let me make sure this is legit. And I browsed around their website and read about the different features, and I was like, okay, this almost seems too good to be true. Do you know what I mean? That was my feeling that I was having. I was like, oh wow, like this came from a good place. It came from people who go to festivals and actually experience these problems in real life, and then they were addressing them and trying to come up with a solution to multiple issues that people going to festivals have. Like, say you go to a festival and your backpack is too big and they won't let you in with it. That was one of the issues that their CEO, Tom, had run into. So things like that were issues that they were trying to solve with this backpack. And so I was like, you know what, this is really, really cool. They were launching the product EDC weekend. So in May, I brought my lunchbox with me. It was awesome. I absolutely loved it. I have like a blue LED wiring on it, so my friends could like easily find me in the crowd. And I got to meet Tom there, which was just like an extra, just like cherry on top of the situation, because it's not very easy to find people at EDC. And he spotted my lunchbox in the crowd, and he saw me. Hold on. Okay, sorry, we're good. I just had a panic attack there for a moment that I wasn't recording, you guys. I'm seriously so nervous now, because I'm using a different program, so I want to just make sure this all goes well. But anyway, as I was saying, Tom saw my backpack in the crowd because I had my LED wiring, and I got to meet him. So it was really cool to put a face to a name and meet him in real life rather than online. So that was awesome. Hey, Tom. Hey, Meredith. What's up? But anyway, so that's my background. That's how I became familiar with the product. I have been using it. I really, really love it. I have a full review on YouTube if you guys want to check it out and like actually see it in action and see all the features and what my experience was like with it at EDC. So definitely go check that out on my channel. But I highly recommend it. It's awesome. Oh, I'll say now before I forget, I have a code with them, you guys, if you want to use it and you want to save some money. They were awesome enough to partner with me. So if you use my last name, Kapotes, 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 you can save $11 on orders of $50 or more. So yeah, guys, go get that discount. Save that money, yo. But yeah, I just want to put that in there before I forget. So another really cool thing about this company, which I get into later, is that they are really giving back to the community, which I love. It's not just about making a product and selling it. They have partnered with some really cool companies and some festivals and also some music labels like you guys might have heard of. Hello, Night Bass. And one of which was Electric Forest. They had an initiative to basically make the ground control medics more visible in the crowds, and they customized lunchboxes for them, which had a glowing panel on the back, so it was like the little cross, so you could identify medical help in the crowd easier. So we're going to talk a little bit about that later, but all of this is to say they're doing some really, really cool things. I thought that you guys as my audience would really like to learn more about them and just more about like safety, just overall happiness and wellness of you guys and how this company is doing that. And then we're just going to talk a little bit about the EDM community in general and how awesome we all are. So that's my intro, you guys. I'm gonna just hop right into the conversation. So this is Meredith that I'm talking to. She is the director of marketing strategy. So yeah, well, let's just take it away. Welcome to the show, Meredith.
Yay,
I got it working.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you taking time.
Yeah, no,
day.
thank you for including us on your podcast.
Of course, yeah. So you're over in Chicago, you said. Is that where you're living right now or going to school?
So I graduated I was going to school in DC in May, and I'm in Chicago sort of for the summer, on and off. We've been traveling, but then we're heading out to California. So I'll be moving to California in the next like month-ish. So
okay, where in California are you going to be based out of?
LA, most likely. So
okay.
I'm excited. Yeah, but we had
cool.
a event in Chicago last weekend, and we're going to go to Lala, so it just sort of made sense to hang out here for a while.
Got it. Okay. I talked a little bit before you came on about just theft at music festivals in general and how prevalent of a problem that is. And then I told a little bit about how I personally became familiar with you guys and just like what my experience has been using the Lunchbox as a product, and why I love the company so far. But just to do a quick intro to you, can you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've been with the company, any other background info?
Yeah, my name's Meredith. I'm the director of market strategy at Lunchbox. I joined the company in November, so right before our Kickstarter campaign launched. Okay. And yeah, I'm from sort of all over. I moved around a ton as a kid, some all over the US, then I lived in Japan for a long time. Lived in Italy for a while, and yeah, now I'm back here. So always a hard question for me to answer. But
yeah, were you living abroad with like studying abroad with school or?
I lived in France on a study abroad program through my school, but all the other moves were just sort of in childhood. So I was in Japan for half of elementary school and all of middle school, so sort of more the like young, like growing up sort of all over, which I loved. But
Right. No, that's so cool. I would love to travel like that. Japan is on my list of places to go
it
for sure.
should be. It's amazing. I
Awesome.
love it so much.
Sweet. So in school, so were you studying for marketing? Is that your background?
No, I went to Georgetown in their School of Foreign Service. And
Oh,
so
wow.
all the majors in that are sort of half international relations, half something else. So
Cool.
technically my major was called Science, Technology, and International Affairs. And then
Okay.
I concentrated in global health, and then I minored in international development. So that's really where all my background is. No business, no marketing, no
No.
anything. These are all new skill sets.
A lot
But
of life experiences, though, it sounds like.
yes, yes, yeah. So it's been an exciting, a steep learning curve, but a fun one and a useful one, I think.
Well, that's awesome. So I guess I have a couple questions just about the EDM community in general, but how long would you say you've been involved in the EDM community?
I mean, I've liked EDM music for a long time. I actually wrote one of my college application essays on how my two favorite genres were EDM and musical theater
Oh,
because
nice.
those do not really mesh often in terms of community overlap.
Right.
And I went to my first festival at 17, but I
Okay.
definitely wasn't as sort of deeply ingrained in this community before I started this job. So sort of
Hmm.
through this job has really given me most of my experience in the EDM community, really given me more space to learn about, the nuances and the subcultures and the different genres and around the artists
Sure.
and those sorts of things. So that's been a cool learning experience and has been a big part of sort of my what the information I've taken in and how to do the marketing for
Hmm.
Lunchbox and whatnot.
Awesome. I was going to say, it sounds like you're like fully immersed in it now. Are you traveling to a lot of festivals?
Yeah. So we did. So there were a few festivals that the company did while I was still in school that I didn't go to, but since graduating, I've done Home Base. We did Bonnaroo. We were at Electric Forest. We just finished up Night Base City here in Chicago, and then we're heading
Hmm.
to Lala in like a week and a half. Potentially
Nice.
Moonrise after that. But who knows? It goes
Right.
on and on and on. But yeah, now there's at least usually a festival every 2 weeks to a month in my life at this point. So
Wow.
definitely racking in those festival experiences.
Sure. Especially now that it's festival season. Do you have any
Mhm.
favorites out of those?
Oh, I think Electric Forest was by far my favorite. It
I
just
would
was
guess
much
that.
more, it was just
Yeah.
much more my vibe, I think, when it comes to festivals. I loved the mix between sort of the stages and the music and the dancing and having that space to sort of with the art installations and to
Hmm.
wander and to have it be much more of an interactive, low key side to the festival experience.
Right.
It was just such a beautiful place, and they do such a great job sort of cultivating an environment there that
Hmm.
was definitely my favorite.
That's awesome. That's like top. I cannot stop talking about it. I'm like, in the
Hmm.
last 2 years, I just have been watching everybody's like vlogs and photos, and I'm like, I have to go. It just seems like the
You,
culture is just like so deeply ingrained there, and they moved it to the one weekend. So I'm like, I hope they move it to two next year, just so that they give more people an opportunity to go. But I've heard rumors that they're keeping it one just to keep the environment around there safe. So.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think the group that goes to Electric Forest is often a lot of repeat festival goers or people that are
Mhm.
sort of very tied to the EDM community. So different from something like experiencing, like a Governor's Ball or a Lollapalooza, where you have, I think, a lot of people that don't typically go to these festivals.
Mhm. That
But
mix. Yep.
yeah, highly. I mean, I've been trying to get to Electric Forest since I was in high school. It just sort
Oh
of
wow.
never worked out, and then this was my first, so I got to go for work, which was nothing I ever
Awesome.
expected and super exciting. So
I was gonna say I definitely I know you guys were doing some really cool stuff there, which I'll get into in a little bit, but I would love to start from the beginning just for those listening who aren't familiar with the lunchbox yet. So just some super general questions. Where the idea originally come from and was just some background on the origins of the company.
our origin story sort of starts Ultra 2018. Tom, our CEO, basically experienced a series of issues at that festival that he then
Hmm.
was like, I'm going to go set out and solve these. So,
Right.
first, when he went through security, they confiscated his backpack for being too big. And so he sort of was left with all his stuff in his hands and nothing really to carry it in, and had to dump the bag because he didn't want to go all the way back to his hotel room.
Right.
And then he missed a set that he really wanted to see, waiting in a water line with a friend because it took like an hour. And then he had 3 people in his group had their phones stolen that ultra.
Wow.
2 just from pockets, and 1 they actually had sliced the bag open with a razor blade or something, just going through slicing. Yeah, it's actually, the more I study theft at festivals, the more you realize there's sort of a whole professional pickpocketing
Ring
culture. Exactly. Yeah. You see these headlines where it's like, man caught with 100 cell phones, and
I know, it's crazy. These people are nuts.
I know, they're really going in to try to capitalize on those low situational awareness experiences. But yeah, so the product basically came about initially as sort of, how do we solve those 3 core issues, and then sort of other features expanded from our own experiences, from user interviews, from other people working in the company, and sort of prototyping, and yeah, that was sort of how the idea came about.
That's so cool. I was going to say, when I initially went on the website and I was like reading through it, I was like, I can tell that this authentically came from somebody who has experienced the issues, because it was just like one after the other. I was like, okay, they thought of that and they thought of that, and like they were just solving the issues. And then I got to use it at EDC Las Vegas, and then I'm bringing it to a couple other festivals with me, and I was like, no, this is so legit, just the way the whole thing is formatted. Everyone listening, I did a full review on YouTube. If you want to see like all of the features in action, you can go look at that video. But today we're talking more about the company.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to sort of be a part of your own consumer base in that sense, in that when we're taking these bags to festivals, when we're sort of living the experience that we want our customers to be living with the product, that gives us so much insight into, okay, this feature is useful for this, or, oh, we're still experiencing this problem. How do we, revamp this for a version 2 to solve it? And just, there was also just a lot of user interviews that went into building the product. The version we're selling now is our 9th prototype. So
no way. Wow.
Yeah, back and forth, but we're perfectionists. So
no, that's perfect. I was going to ask, so what learning curves have you guys had since it launched? Because I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the launch was officially like EDC weekend, correct? In May?
Yeah. So our Kickstarter was in December, and then we took pre-orders up till May, and that was really when we started delivering products to customers. I mean, for me, everything has honestly been a learning curve, right? I didn't even realize entrepreneurship existed like a year ago. So now to be a festival entrepreneur has been a big 180, but I think, learning a lot about sort of digital marketing, SEO, using various ad platforms, that's been a big one. Navigating the industry in general, because I wasn't so ingrained in it before, really going through and learning about the communities. I'm a member of like 50 festival Facebook groups that I just go in and I read all these comments and sort of trying to understand sort of that deeper sense of community in the space was a learning curve for sure. I don't know, logistics, figuring out how to get things shipped in time, and dealing with, delays and customer issues, and all of those things were definitely learning curves too. But I think the learning curves are just sort of a constant at this phase, but that keeps it interesting. So
exactly. And I feel like you guys have really relied on influencer marketing, and also just getting the Lunchbox fam together, which I love. I see everybody on social media. I think it's so great, like the community you guys have built around it. So was that something that was like pretty important to you from the beginning?
That's honestly something that sort of grew from the product that we didn't necessarily expect at the get-go. Initially, our concept of our FAM program was an affiliate marketing program that we still do run, but we just noticed, us on site, the way our customers were interacting with one another, with us, with the product, that there was this community forming. And so Lunchbox Fam has kind of taken on this new meaning beyond sort of this traditional affiliate marketing program, to just be something that, we're calling out to people. I'm watching people call out to other people who own the product, which is just such a gratifying and crazy thing. But really, yeah, I mean, our Lunchbox fam started just the people that have spent so much time pouring their time and energy into this project, and has become a much wider community. So that's definitely been super exciting to see, and really gratifying, and helps us feel like we're on the right path. And like, you know, for any initiatives we'd want to try to go, that we've got a team of people in this community ready to mobilize. So
sure. Oh, and you can find them easily in the crowd. That's how Tom spotted me at EDC Las Vegas, which was so great, because I mean, you never expect to run into anybody there, just with the sheer size of that festival. But with the LED lights, he spotted me in the crowd, so that was a cool moment.
Yeah, I mean, when he's at a festival, he's just off chasing down Lunchbox after Lunchbox.
That's awesome. But it's good. It's good to just like get to know people too. And, you know, I've absolutely loved working with you guys so far. And I definitely have a good feeling that the Lunchbox fam is going to continue to grow. And that's sort of something I've like just noticed about the festival and EDM community in general. I feel like when people really get behind something, it just like spreads very quickly, because there's a tight knit community on Twitter, which is a whole thing. And then you've got like the Reddit community, and through YouTube, I've met so many people as well, which is crazy. So definitely a cool industry.
Yeah, one of the things I know I touched on this a little earlier, but that sort of drove this Lunchbox fam is this very familial relationship that exists among, you know, fans of certain artists or certain labels in the EDM space. You know, it's very much tied to, you know, Space Mom or whatever, and there's this sense of that community. So I think we were just really able to tap into a pre-existing, you know, thing that exists within festival goers and EDM, and just sort of spin that off in our own way. So
right. And I mean, do you have, now that you've been in the community for a little while, do you have a favorite part of being involved in the EDM and festival space?
Oh, I think it's just, as far as communities on the internet go, I always tell people it's the only one I've ever seen where no one is ever gross or rude.
Right.
I think for the most part, you know, you think the amount of time that I spend in a given day messaging with strangers, I'm expecting in most communities, I think there would be, you know, all sorts of swearing or degrading language, or however, you know, some people talk behind keyboards. But one really cool thing has been sort of throughout all of this constant just positivity that radiates from this community, even with the anonymity of being online, which I've really appreciated. I also think people in this space, when you sort of give them your young entrepreneur story, they're very receptive to it, and they're instantly looking for ways to help and people to connect you to. And I've heard from sort of other entrepreneurs that doesn't necessarily hold through all industries. So that's definitely a part of this industry that I've very much directly benefited from, and has been really cool to experience.
Yeah, no, it's definitely just in general too, being in like at festivals. I'm sure you've experienced this, just meeting people in real life too.
Yeah.
It's such an incredibly positive group of people.
Everyone from, you know, it can be the headlining DJ of an event or whatever, you know, person who owns the label, and they're still out there, they're still engaging with us, they're still looking for ways to help us. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a question. I just saw this the other day, but just so everyone knows, where did the name Lunchbox come from?
I get that question a lot, actually. And I wasn't around during the naming process. When I came in, we already had the name Lunchbox. But generally speaking, the idea was that your lunchbox was this essential item for school as a kid, and the lunchbox is an essential item, in our opinion, for festival attendees.
Got it.
We also sort of wanted to pull in something fun, something playful, as well as really play on that idea, sort of interesting in how the fam culture developed, but of the festival mom, and sort of us keeping you safe, keep reminding you to drink water. You're sort of festival mom in a sense through the product. So
yep. Oh, that's me all day. I'm the Rave mom always.
Yes, no, exactly. Somewhat from that, light and playful. And the thing that I really love about the name is that people will substitute it for the noun. So people aren't saying, I'm going to put something in your hydration bag, in your backpack, in your normal backpack. They're saying, oh, I'm going to put something in your lunchbox, because people are used to using that word sort of as the noun.
Sure.
Which has been great. So
and so we briefly touched on it. I know I named some names, but who who are the members of the team now, and has the Lunchbox team grown since you guys started with the Kickstarter?
So actually, currently the only team members are myself and the founder, Tom.
Okay.
We have a great intern who helps us out with a lot of stuff, some freelancers, and then a lot of people that are very generous with their time with us.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's actually, we were three on the team at the Kickstarter time. So we've actually gone the opposite direction in terms of growth. But yeah, it's basically the whole company is 220-somethings in a WeWork. But
that's awesome.
It's a good
Definitely
time
growing,
for sure.
though.
And we have a great sort of, I mean, you're in our Slack, and there's all sorts of people that playing around in there with us and suggesting music and, so, helping us with different things. But yeah, we're a team of two at the moment.
Cool. So, okay. So one thing I did want to mention, I know we sort of touched on it with Electric Forest, but you guys are doing some really incredible things with causes that you guys are passionate about. And I know in general that there's been some advocating for like overall festival safety as far as like theft protection. And then I know you guys also do medical help. And I also know that ear protection is something that's super important to you guys as well. So I would just love to hear about any other causes that you guys are passionate about, and what you're also the Lunchbox Safe Patrol program that you're doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a company, our mission is really to protect the festival experience. And we sort of think to do that holistically, you need to look at, attendee safety, attendee health, attendee happiness from every angle or sort of every facet of the festival experience. So on the anti-theft side, the way our bag is built, our inverted zippers, our ballistic nylon, our phone pocket, those are all at an individual level trying to prevent theft. And that's really sort of one of the core pieces of the product as a product. Beyond that, in terms of, so on our founder, Tom, is actually 70% deaf in both his ears. So hearing loss was sort of a very closely linked issue for our company to look at, especially given noise-induced hearing loss. It doesn't have a lot of awareness around it, but it actually is cumulative and irreversible, and a rising issue among our age demographic and especially in the festival community. So we're working with some really cool people to try and raise awareness on that, help people understand. A lot of the pushback I hear is around, I don't want it to, decrease the quality of the music that I'm hearing or muffle the music. And so explaining, high fidelity, and it's only filtering out, toxic decibels of noise and those sorts of things. And then in terms of the medical side, we paired at eForest. We were working with their timber scouts, their ground control team, essentially, to basically make high visibility versions of our bag, so attendees could easily spot medical in a crowd, increasing engagement with the medical staff, helping, carts find the medical teams, helping the medical teams get through security checkpoints faster because there's this clear identification. So really, that harm reduction space from within the festival operations and medical side. So that's still a program that we're really trying to build out, increase our impact on, bring to more festivals. But that was sort of our first foray beyond the individual attendee experience. How do we, protect the attendee experience for all festival attendees? Or how do we sort of take that more holistic health angle for some of the issues faced that maybe a backpack at the offset doesn't seem like it could solve any issues around, but we can find a way to use it to, reduce response times, which is really in a medical emergency in a festival space is usually going to be sort of your biggest determinant of outcome.
Sure. So, it's incredible. I'm looking at a picture of it now in case anybody hasn't seen. It's this big bright panel built into the back of the Lunchbox. So it's like a special edition for medics. And you could definitely spot that in a crowd. When I saw the picture of that initially, I was like, this is genius. It's so smart. And I think it's just going to help a lot of people. I'm sure it helped a ton of people at Electric Forest and in the future, because the ground control people normally at festivals, you can identify them by like a t-shirt or something like that, which is great. They're always fantastic at every festival. But I think just knowing that somebody's in the crowd there to help you if you need them is super important. So I love that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, it was really cool too, because, well, our intern is an EMT and I also was an EMT in undergrad.
Oh, wow.
So being able to sort of tie those public health angles in and those skill sets in working with the team, their
Hmm.
ground control teams, being able to make that connection, to have had that training. And I keep saying I understand all their acronyms because there are many acronyms in EMT
Okay.
work and those sorts of things. So yeah, it was a really cool sort of way to blend my global health degree and EMT experience with this festival entrepreneurship
Right.
world.
Right. No, that's so awesome. What's up next for you guys? I know you have some new and exciting things going on. Maybe we could talk about the night base collab next.
Yeah, happy to. Yeah, so this past weekend we launched our first label partnership with Nightbase, which is honestly our team favorite label for sure. Like
Awesome.
their DJs are the soundtrack of many a night working. And that was it was pretty random. We actually, one of our collaborators, Chris Cook, was at a AC Slater event and sort of wildly waving the lunchbox in the crowd. And AC actually spotted it and asked, "Is that a lunchbox?"
Oh, no
And
way.
yeah, he'd seen the marketing materials and the promotions about it, and so
Awesome.
Chris, brought the product over and sort of showed him the features and explained our skin system, our interchangeable sort of designs that zip on and off our bags,
Yep.
and asked if he would be interested in doing a collaboration. And we sent him a proposal over, and they were all for it. So it was a
Awesome.
really great event. It definitely, they have a really strong fan base that we were
Hmm.
able to tap into, and people were responding really well. And it's cool too because we got to give all of the night-based DJs that were performing at Night-Based City their own lunchbox that we put their names on and whatnot.
Aw.
So Chris Lorenzo ended up with one, Wax Motif ended up with one, Red
Oh my
Light and
God.
Jack Beats and Kendall and so
Awesome.
all over. Yeah, and it was really great, getting to just talk to them, and they would come over and ask for help stringing their lunch boxes with the EL wire, and it would give us a chance to really, talk to them
Interact.
about the product. And sort of that thing I was saying before about how people in the EDM community, no matter who they are, what level they are,
Hmm.
they want to engage with you, they want to help you. It was very much that type of experience. So
That's awesome.
really exciting to sort of launch that, and we hope to do a lot of future label collaborations.
I was going to say one of the things that I liked about the product in general is it's just neutral, period. I mean, like, I love black. Black's my favorite color, but I just feel like it obviously can go with anything. And then you do have these customizable skins, which whatever you're into, you've got a couple different patterns that you can zip on and off, and they're super vibrant, which I love. I got the two in the mail. Is that something you guys envision expanding as well in the future?
Yeah, so we actually have a new line of skins that will be released by the end of the summer. We've been working with more artists. Those skins typically are either collaborations with community artists, festival
Hmm.
brands, or then this is our first label, and we give a sort of a cut of the proceeds to whoever provides the artwork.
Hmm.
And it's definitely, yeah, we're looking to collaborate with more artists, both visual and musical artists,
Hmm.
and definitely looking to, I think expanding our skin option will be something we keep building on for a long
Sure.
time.
Definitely. And the wiring is pretty cool too. I feel like I'm not the best at making the pattern. I need to like look at people's pictures because some people do such creative like patterns. So I'm stepping up my game for Electric Zoo.
Perfect. No, yeah, I also am not the best, and yet everyone asks me to string their lunch boxes for them, and I'm like, all right, I got one or two styles I got down, and
Hmm. But
the
there's
only reason mine looks cool is I've just strung several wires on it.
right.
So.
But it's easy to, I mean, for me personally, my friends will know this. I'm one of those people that like gets lost in a crowd very easily. And I tend to be the leader. I've got a good sense of direction. So, and I'm the shortest one. I'm 5'1". So I'm the person that's like navigating the crowd. And at EDC, I had my glowing backpack. So they were like, even if you got a couple feet ahead of us and we lost you for a second, it was so easy to find. So highly recommend you guys getting a lunchbox. Like people can find you.
Yeah, you don't realize how much of a benefit that is until it starts happening and you're like, wait a minute, this is saving me so much time and energy. And, you're looking at this sea of people and everything's sort of backlit and dark and you know exactly where your crowd is. So I've definitely also reaped the benefits of that in my my festival experiences.
Awesome. So I have another question for you guys, because I know you're sort of immersed in everything now and you just did a big push in May, but in the next year or two out, what else are you guys excited about, or where do you see the company going?
We actually have we've actually talked about this today. There's several market pivots we're excited to make with this product. We've been doing some user interviews and getting some content for using the Lunchbox in sort of an active adventure space. So runners, hikers, bikers. Some of the great feedback we've gotten from runners is because our bladder is constructed differently than typical camelbacks and sits at the bottom of the pack instead of along the back. It doesn't create that sort of, you don't feel the water sort of swishing against your back as you run, and there's much more lumbar support and that low anchor weight. So that's been some cool feedback to get from the running community. And yeah, we've had several friends that have gone out. We've gone out ourselves and tried it out as, a hiking day pack, a travel day pack, and have had great experiences with that. So yeah, we're looking sort of in that active adventure area. We're looking at potentially marketing it for amusement parks. A lot of people will bring hydration packs to amusement parks. And we also were interestingly sort of last night playing with this idea of even having it there be a line for actual kids. So, kids growing out of, kids respond so well to the lights. They love them. But then, you as a kid, your kid cycles through different designs. They like different cartoons. They like being able to just change the skin instead of the bag, being able to actually pack your kid's lunch in the bottom of the bag. So we have that insulated bladder compartment and things like that. So that's another cool space we're sort of looking at, and going to do some more user testing and whatnot to figure out where our best angle is and where our product fits best. But those are some angles we're definitely excited to pursue.
A lot of possibilities. That's super exciting.
Exactly. The way we see it, we sort of made a best-in-class hydration pack, and we built it for the music festival community because that's really our community. But there's so many uses for hydration packs in general that then sort of go out to these other markets with our product.
I think that makes a lot of sense, especially in the active community. I saw, I think, a post on your Instagram or something with a hiker, and I can attest to the bladder in there and the comfort of it. I loved how much room personally there was to keep everything, especially at EDC. It was weirdly 50 degrees at night, and I had to pack sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and it all fit in the bag, which was pretty shocking. But it does, and it's got all the different pockets inside, which was great because you can sort of keep your items safe. And there's got in the top corners, there's two little pockets, which is where I personally kept my credit card and my cash, because that's the number one thing that I think people get stolen out of their bags besides their phones or camera. So I liked that you guys had those options that were a little bit more tucked away and hidden.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a compact bag, and that's based on, trying to make sure that it gets in and through all, top 50 festivals in the United States, different security requirements. But one thing I love to do is stick my pashmina up the skin compartment. So it's not technically a pocket, but it's got sort of an opening at the bottom that's small enough that my pashmina is not going to fall out. So I create an extra pocket without it actually being another pocket. We've had a few customers message us and be like, why is there a big hole in the bottom of the pocket? All my stuff is falling out. And I'm that's not actually a pocket. But
I didn't think about that,
one. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, no, that's definitely a good one. So I know you mentioned briefly in the beginning, but just before we wrap up, so where can we see you guys next? What festivals or shows do you have coming up?
Yeah, our team will be at Lollapalooza next in Chicago coming up, potentially at Moonrise. We're not sure because then we have to do our whole move to California, and it's a little unclear sort of the August trajectory, but we'll definitely be at Imagine and at EDC Orlando.
Awesome.
Are our two sort of confirmed, or our three next confirmed big events.
Well, okay, I will definitely be seeing you guys at Imagine then. That's my
perfect.
first time attending that one, but I'm super excited. That's going to be a good one.
It'll be my first time too. Yeah, I know you said you were going to Electric Zoo. I know Tom isn't going to make it. I guess there's a possibility that I make it, in which case we could meet up. But
that would be awesome.
If not, I will see you at Imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I know that would be fun. I would love to meet more Lunchbox fam members as well. Maybe we can arrange something. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
So before I let you go, where can everybody find you guys on social media and your website?
Yeah, so our website is itsmylunchbox.com, and our social media is at It's the Lunchbox.
At It's the Lunchbox. Okay. And you guys have a YouTube channel too, because I do want to mention there's some really helpful videos and tutorials in case anybody has questions on how the product works. So definitely check you guys out on YouTube also.
Yes, I think we're just straight Lunchbox on YouTube.
I'll link everything, you guys. Don't worry. On YouTube and on Anchor and all of the other podcast platforms. I'll make sure I got links in there for you guys. But thank you so much for doing this today. It was really, really nice getting to know you and getting to know more about the company. I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. Thank you for setting all this up. And yeah, it's an exciting time for the company and everything. So
awesome.
I'm glad we could do this.
With everything. Seriously. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Good night.
Alrighty, you guys. So thank you so much to Meredith for coming on the podcast. It was so awesome talking to her. She was great. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. I really, really loved learning more about her and about the Lunchbox as a company, and I have such a good feeling about them, you guys. I think they're doing really incredible stuff. And the fact that they're out there trying to better their community, trying to make everyone's festival going experience better through their product, and just, I don't know, by sort of creating another community, the Lunchbox fam, within the EDM community. I think it's all great, and I highly recommend you guys checking out the product. Again, go check out their website or go follow them on social media. You guys can check out my review of the product as well if you want to see it in action. And again, really quickly, if you guys want to save some money on the Lunchbox, you can use my code Kapotes, Kapotes. Again, that's Kapotes, Kapotes. Use that at checkout and you'll save $11 off an order of $50 or more. So go save that coin, fam. Invest. I think it's a great purchase. It's a staple in like every raver and festival goers closet. We want you guys out there staying hydrated. We want to keep your stuff safe. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you again, Meredith and Tom from the Lunchbox. I'm waving at them on the camera right now. If you guys want to submit any ideas for future episodes or people you want me to have on here, I'm more than happy to have more conversations with people in the industry. So you can send me an email to raveculturecast@gmail.com, raveculturecast@gmail.com. Anything you want, just like want me to cover, topic ideas. You guys can also follow me on social media at Emma Kapotes and at raveculturecast. Again, that's at Emma Kapotes and at raveculturecast. Just to keep up to date with what's going on. I'm always posting on there different polls and questions for you guys for future episodes, because I always want to get your submissions and your feedback. So I do have a couple of those out already, so stay tuned for more participation in the future, because I definitely want to have more of your stories and submissions on upcoming episodes. So again, you can stay tuned over there. What else do I have coming up? I hope I see you guys at an upcoming festival. That would be so awesome. Again, screenshot and share where are you guys listening from. I love just to know. And again, I would absolutely love it if you guys screenshot and share your screen, post it on your Instagram stories, on Twitter. It helps get the word out about Rave Culture Podcast. So I appreciate you guys sharing it with friends, sharing it on your social media, and becoming a part of this community and a part of the podcast. I absolutely appreciate your support more than anything in the world. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys can check me out on YouTube again under Emma Kapotes. I have a bunch of fun videos coming up in the summer and in the next couple of months. There's some cool stuff. I got a couple vlogs up there as well. My trip from Vegas, if you guys want to go watch that and check it out. But I think that's all I've got for you guys. Sending all my support to the Lunchbox fam, you guys. Check them out, and I will be back next Wednesday with a new episode. Peace.